Randy Castillo is gonna kick my ass. Man, some of the crazy stuff that happens on the Sunset Strip. Back in the day, man, that place was jumping like no other. You know, Nashville downtown, it's a huge scene, and there's tons of music, but it's 99% cover bands. And you know, it is what it is. And it's people, it's not like, you know, the sun goes down and the party people come out, which is what the Sunset Strip was like. The Sunset Strip would be business all day until, you know, 7, 8, 9 o'clock. And then all the rock and rollers would come out. And, you know, everybody vying for a record deal and all that. So it's a big, big difference than the Nashville scene. Nashville now, man, it's music all day. You can go down there and you could probably start playing at 10 o'clock in the morning shift, you know, 10 to 2, you know, and then, you know, do a 2 to 6, and then do a 6 to 10, and then do another 10 to 2, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. It's going. It's always going. And there's music down there, and you can be down there in the thick of it. But man, it's a different audience. You know, the Sunset Strip was, it was rock and rollers and some tourists and a lot of the fans, like whether it's, you know, a lot of girls, I would have to say. I mean, it would seem like some nights, you know, it'd be 60% girls down there. And, you know, the girls were brought down because, you know, the guys were, you know, they were peacocking it up. They were peacocking it up with the poofed hair and the clothes and all that. And that would attract the girls, just like boy bands became the thing. You know, I remember when, you know, and now it's gone over the top with these K-pop or J-pop or whatever it is, bands where the guys are just, you know, and perfectly made up and, you know, and all this. And it's the same game, brother. It's the same game. You know, it was always back in the day that the males would, you know, the male animals would be more elaborate, you know, like a male peacock or something, would be more elaborate to attract the females. And that's the way the Sunset Strip was. But Nashville, man, it's people drinking to excess. It's like a redneck New Orleans now, and way crazier than really New Orleans was. New Orleans was pretty wild, you know, yeah, with the nudity on the street. And you don't really have that in Nashville. Maybe a little bit, but you know, there's not people throwing beads and all this kind of nonsense. But man, the Sunset Strip was something else. So I can remember a particular incident. And I believe this was a gig at Gazzari's, the legendary Gazzari's, Bill Gazzari's. And let me describe to you, there was a picture in Gazzari's, and I've searched for this picture online, and I've never seen it. People love hearing about, you know, David Lee Roth and, you know, Van Halen's and all this. And there was this picture, and it was Bill Gazzari and David Lee Roth. Bill Gazzari, who would he dressed like a mobster, like a mafia guy. He'd have the hat and the shiny suit and, you know, and all this. Now, my old boss, Gary Lewis, told me that Bill Gazzari used to be a plumber, and he would work on Jerry Lewis's house in Beverly Hills. So man, that guy goes way back, but I guess he got enough money and decided he was going to get in the rock and roll game. And that's when he opened Gazzarri's. And Gazzarri's was open in the 60s, and they would have go-go dancers. And there was a TV show, the Miss Gazzari Dancer and all this. And as it progressed, by the time it hit the 80s, the girls were, not just little go-go dancers, but it seemed like Miss Gazzari Dancer would be like some stripper or something. And the Gazzari dancer contest, they'd get up on stage and do like a strip tease and all this kind of stuff. And it was a wild scene, but we kind of played there at the tail end of it, right before Bill Gazzari died. I never got to meet Bill Gazzari, but I was thankful to get to play his club, because it was a legendary place. And so we're playing Gazzari's, and I'm guessing this is probably like 1991, maybe 92. And, the music's starting to change, and we're realizing it. But, it's business as usual on the Strip. And if your band can draw, you're going to get booked and you're going to play Gazzari's. We were on a bill at Gazzari's. And I could remember I had this model ex-girlfriend. But man, she was, it seeming like nothing but trouble all the time. But, the thing about playing the Strip, there would be people that you would want to be there, and there would be people that you would not want to be there, but ultimately you wanted them all there. So whether it was an ex-girlfriend or a future girlfriend or not yet your girlfriend, you would invite every single girl that you knew. And you try to get your guy friends by saying, hey man, we got all these girls coming to the show. Man, you gotta come. You gotta come Friday night, bro. You call them up, hey, bro. I got all these girls coming in, and man, I want to leave the gig with my girlfriend. So why don't you guys come and handle some of these worked up women, but so. You would try to get your guy friends there just because, you just to balance it out. You can't have that many girls in one place and there's no guys. The girls will be like, okay, I'm not going to their shows anymore. It's nothing but women. So you would need a balance, But I had this ex-girlfriend, and like I said, it was always a lot of trouble. There was always some kind of drama or something going on. And she was a part-time model. And she had gone there with her friend to our show. Now, from what I understand, she, maybe at this time, if I remember correctly, she had her ex-boyfriend. And we weren't an item anymore, and this is partly why. Her ex-boyfriend had been kicked out of his place or something and needed a place to stay. So now he's staying at her place. And, she tells me, she says, well, Gary is, he's opening for you guys on at Gazzari's, and he says their band is gonna kick your band's ass. I just laughed. I said, your ex-boyfriend's band is playing at 7:00. We're hitting the stage at 11:00 in the headliner slot. So I hope that he does kick ass at 7:00. But guess what? I'm not even gonna be there. I'm gonna stroll in at, 10:00, and my gear's gonna be set up on stage for me. And I'm gonna get on that stage, and I'm gonna quietly and very profoundly kick that ass. And and I'm just like, I'm not even going to be there at 7:00. So, I think his band was called Mad Major. And I think they had like these will wear these like band, like a major in a band, like jackets, It's just like, what the hell is a mad major, But so I just thought that was funny. But, so she was going to be at the show. I said, we're headlining. So, those guys can do whatever they want at 7:00. I don't really care. I'm not going to be there. And frankly, not many other people are going to be there. Well, we go and we're playing our show. And I think that night I wore like bicycle shorts, like the some kind of like longer like shorts that said Everlast on them, and I had like a baseball jersey with completely open and just full wild man mode, just hop out of the shower and just throw on whatever and just go. It wasn't really the glam days. We were never really a glam band, but we rocked, we rocked in our own way. And so at some point during our performance, I noticed sort of a melee of girls, some girls getting into it. Well, I'd had a friend and a girl that was a friend, but a good friend. And, it was really important to, you're not sleeping with all of these, girls that are coming out to your show. You've got to keep, a lot of them as friends, and you keep them as friends by treating them like friends and not, just screwing them over and kicking them to the curb. And so, we had a large group of girls that were, friends of this friend of mine, and they would come to our shows and they'd get all dolled up and they would be in the audience and it was always great to just see all these people coming out and, paying the $10 or whatever it was to get in and see your band play original music. Okay. Hear that, Nashville? Playing a set of original music, which you can hear in Nashville, but not on Lower Broadway. So we're playing the gig, and my ex-girlfriend is there with her friend, and they're standing behind this group of girls, this group of girls that was with my friend, right? And, my friend is just minding her business. She's just watching the show. And standing right behind her is my ex-girlfriend. And it's crazy because the ex-girlfriend did not like my friend. Would call her all kinds of, she's trash, and why do you hang out with her? And look, my friend was really kind to me. And, she would invite me down for the weekend. I'd go down for the weekend. She'd cook home-cooked meals. At the time, she had like 2 toddlers. So it wasn't any big party when I went down there. But I would go down there and just get away from the band house, the band, the party, and go down there and get some rest and eat some home-cooked meals, which we did not have, man. We didn't have anything in that fridge at that band house. There was nothing. There was nothing to eat. And if I had a couple bucks in my pocket, I could walk around the corner to this little Mexican, I don't know what it was, but it was a little restaurant. And they had a breakfast for $1.99. And then when I discovered that, I was like, dude, I could go in there and it was like 2 eggs, 2 pieces of toast, and chorizo for $1.99. I was like, yes, I can finally eat a breakfast that I can afford, But we're playing this show, and my ex-girlfriend is standing behind the friend, the big group of girls, and the ex-girlfriend sees that her nemesis, which, I don't know why these girls would have any beef. And there was no reason to, but the ex-girlfriend decided to keep kind of pushing her friend, into my friend, kept pushing her into him. And, it happened a couple of times. And my friend just turned around and went pop and socked not my ex-girlfriend, but the other girl in the eye, because they were back there doing it and laughing and and doing that. And like I said, my friend just turned around and popped her friend right in the eye. And that night, I was seeing somebody else. I was seeing this girl that was like an actress, part-time actress, and we weren't like really dating, but it was like, she came to the show, and that's who I was leaving with. And so I didn't really know all of this had gone down till I get to the little after party hang that we had at our drummer's house, his drummer and his girlfriend's house. So we're hanging out there and having a few drinks and yucking it up, and then all of a sudden, I don't know if it was a phone call or whatever, or maybe I checked my voicemail, but I got these angry messages on my voicemail from my ex-girlfriend. That bitch, she punched my friend and all this. Well, then I heard from my friend who said, look, those girls kept pushing and bumping into me and kept doing it over and over again. And they were laughing and thought it was a big joke. And she goes, I finally had enough and I shut it down. And I said, I talked to her and I said, I can't blame you. I can't blame you. And I didn't hold any ill will against her, but the ex-girlfriend was calling me up and chewing me out. And at one point, they left a message on my voicemail, and she was at the time, I believe, she was then, this is all kind of the kind of trajectory of it all, but she, was dating a guy that was playing in Ozzy's band. And, but even so, why was she bothering people at my show? I mean, if you're dating a guy in Ozzy's band, why are you coming to my show and messing with my friends? Why are you doing that? Hello? Not cool. But she's calling me up, and she's with Randy Castillo's girlfriend, and they're calling me up and leaving me voicemails. Randy Castillo is gonna kick your ass, and blah 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 blah, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, like, dude, my attitude at the time was, bring it on. I had people threatening to kick my ass. Who is it this week? Who is it this week? And I would get fired up. All that would do was just fire me up. And I'd go out in the backyard and I'd hit the weight bench, and I'd get up in the morning and I'd go jogging. I go, well, if there's gonna be a fight, I'm gonna make sure I'm ready for it. And so I'm getting this, Randy Castillo is gonna kick my ass, and I'm thinking, well, I've never seen Randy Castillo in person, and I don't have any beef with this guy. This is some typical nonsense, girl drama. And, I knew the likelihood of this guy going out and kicking some guy's ass because some girl punched this other girl and all this. I knew it wasn't probably a reality, but whenever I would get threatened with an ass beating, I would make sure that I was getting myself ready just in case. Because, the fisticuffs would erupt from time to time on the strip, and it never it wasn't never any UFC style, beatings doled out. Back in those days, bar fights would usually last about 10 to 15 seconds before the security guards or your buddies or somebody would separate you and throw you out of the club, or throw one guy out the back door and one guy out the front door. But I'll never forget getting the phone call that Randy Castillo is gonna kick your ass. So just another night on the Sunset Strip.